right, 2 losses in a row. Southampton beat us at home, the fans are frustrated, and now we're flying to Portugal to face Sporting CP in the Champions League quarter-finals. This is as big as it gets outside of the semis and the final. And honestly, I think tonight is where Arsenal show the world who they really are, or it's where the wheels completely fall off. There's no middle ground here. So let's get into everything you need to know before kickoff, the team news, the injuries, the tactics, and why I genuinely believe tonight could be a turning point for this Arsenal squad. Grab a drink. Let's talk football. First, the context. What's been going on? Before we even talk about lineups, we need to address the elephant in the room. Arsenal have lost 2 games back-to-back, 2, and one of them was to Southampton, at home. I don't care who you support, that result was painful to watch. Southampton were fighting relegation, and we couldn't beat them. That's the kind of loss that stays with you. And now, just days later, we're heading to Lisbon. No time to feel sorry for ourselves. No time to overthink it. This is the Champions League. Either you show up or you go home. Mikel Arteta knows this. The players know this. And honestly, after everything this season, I feel like Arsenal need a big European night to remind themselves and everyone else what they're capable of. So what does the squad look like going into this one? That's where it gets interesting. The big boost. Declan Rice is back. Let's start with the best news first. Declan Rice is back. He missed the Southampton defeat, which, and I'll say this plainly, showed. Without Rice in midfield, Arsenal looked lost. He's the engine. He's the one who wins the ball back, sets the tempo, and gives everyone around him the confidence to play. When he's not there, it's like the whole team is running without a heartbeat. He trained on Monday. He's expected to travel with the squad and start tonight. And honestly, this is massive. Not just for this game, but for the mentality going into it. You know what Fabrizio Romano has been saying? He's been flagging Arsenal's injury situation for weeks now, pointing out how the squad depth has been tested to its limits this season. Rice being available is exactly the kind of news the club needed after a rough week. When your most important midfielder is back and fit for a Champions League quarter-final, that changes everything. Can Arsenal win this tie without Rice? Probably not. With him, absolutely. Gabriel is fit, but it was a scare. Okay, next one. Gabriel. If you watched the Southampton game, you saw him come off in the second half. Ice straight on the knee, the whole stadium went quiet. And look, losing Gabriel right before a Champions League quarter-final, that would have been catastrophic. But good news, he's fine, he's recovered, he's expected to start. And that partnership with William Saliba, it's one of the best centre-back pairings in Europe right now, no exaggeration. Saliba is calm, composed, and reads the game like he's been playing at this level for 15 years. Gabriel brings the aggression, the aerial ability, and the fire. Together, they're genuinely elite. Now Arteta himself came out and confirmed Gabriel is available. That's not rumour, that's from the manager's mouth directly. When your boss is going out of his way to reassure fans before a big game, you know the mood in the camp is focused. The injuries that hurt, Saka and Timber, are outright. Now for the bad news. Bukayo Saka is not travelling to Lisbon. Let that sink in. Saka is probably Arsenal's most important attacker. He creates chances, he scores goals, he wins fouls in dangerous areas. He's the player defenders hate facing most, and tonight he won't be there. Neither will Yuri and Timber at right back, 2 players who would have started, both missing. Arteta was honest about it after the Southampton game. He said something along the lines of, "We've lost so many important players recently, and that needs to change quickly." You could hear the frustration in his voice, and honestly, you can't blame him. Also still out, Marino, Hincapié, and a few others. This squad has been stretched thin, and yet here we are. Quarter-finals of the Champions League. That tells you something about the depth that does exist, even when the headlines focus on who's missing. The question is, who steps up in their place? The lineup, what does it actually look like? So without Saka and Timber, what's the predicted starting 11? In goal, David Raya. No debate there. He's been excellent this season and is one of the best shot stoppers in the league. At right back, Christian Mosquera could come in to fill Timber's spot. Now look, this is where I'll be honest with you. Mosquera at right back in a Champions League quarter-final is a big ask. It's a pressure moment, but sometimes players rise to the occasion. We'll see. Saliba and Gabriel at centre-back, as we said, that's solid. Real confidence in that pairing. Ricardo Calafiori at left-back. He's been decent when fit and in form, so this makes sense. In midfield, Zubimendi alongside Rice. Zubimendi has been quietly impressive all season. He's tidy, he's disciplined, and he gives Rice the freedom to push forward when needed. That midfield too could really work tonight. In the attacking positions, Odegaard at the 10. If Arsenal have a captain, a leader, a creative brain, it's him. When Odegaard is at his best, Arsenal are at their best. Simple as that. Trossard on one side, he's versatile, he works hard, and he takes a good chance when it falls to him. With Saka out, he becomes even more important. And on the right, Noni Madueke. Now there's also talk about Max Daumann being in good form and potentially getting minutes at some point in the match if the game opens up. Keep an eye on that. Up front, well, I'll come to that in a second. The tactics, what does Arsenal need to do? Here's my honest take as someone who watches Arsenal week in, week out. Tonight is not about playing pretty football. It's not about stats or possession percentages. It's about being hard to beat, being clinical when chances come, and making sure Sporting don't get a crucial away goal advantage going into the second leg. Rice and Zubimendi need to sit deep enough to protect Saliba and Gabriel. If Gyökeres gets in behind, that's a problem. So the midfield shield is crucial. Odegaard needs to be the one who unlocks Sporting's defence. He has the vision and the passing range to find pockets of space. When he's pressing high and moving the ball quickly, Arsenal are at their best. And up front, whoever leads the line needs to hold the ball up, bring others into play and take their chances. No wasting opportunities, not in a quarter-final. The first leg is about being smart, don't lose big. Ideally, get an away goal or even a victory. Come back to the Emirates with something to work with. What does this mean for Arsenal? Let me put this in perspective. Arsenal haven't won a major trophy in a while. The league has been difficult. Domestic cup exits have been painful. But the Champions League, this is the competition where everything can change. Where one run, one series of big performances can define your entire season. This squad has quality, even with the injuries, even with the bad run of results. There are players here who can win big matches. Rice, Odegaard, Saliba, Raya, these are top-level players, and sometimes losing a few games before a big one actually wakes a team up. It reminds them of what's at stake. It creates a sense of urgency that nothing else can. I genuinely believe Arsenal come out tonight with real intensity, with something to prove, with the kind of edge you only get when your back is slightly against the wall, but I could be completely wrong. That's football. That's why we watch. My honest prediction, Arsenal 1-1 Sporting CP. Gyökeres scores, because of course he does. He's been unstoppable and he will be motivated beyond measure playing against his former club. But Arsenal get an away goal. Odegaard or Trossard. Someone steps up in the big moment. A draw away from home in a Champions League quarter-final. I'll take that every single time. Sets up a massive second leg at the Emirates. What's your prediction? Drop it in the comments. I genuinely want to know. Quick questions for you before I wrap up. A few things I want to hear your thoughts on. 1. Is Rice being back enough to change Arsenal's recent form? Or has this injury crisis gone too deep for one player to fix it? 2. Who steps up in Saka's absence? Madueke, Trossard, someone else entirely? 3. Can Saliba and Gabriel handle Gyökeres? He's been scoring for fun. Can even the best centre-back partnership in the league stop him? 4. Do you think Arsenal can actually win the Champions League this season? Or is a quarter-final exit more realistic, given everything that's happened? Serious questions. I want your honest thoughts. The comments are open. Let's talk. Look, at the end of the day, this is Arsenal. And if you've supported this club for any length of time, you know exactly what that means. The frustrating losses, the almost moments, the nights where it all comes together in the most dramatic way possible. Tonight could go either way, but I choose to believe, not blindly, but because I've watched this team build something real over the past few seasons. And one bad week doesn't erase that. Rice is back, Gabriel is fit, Odegaard is playing, Arteta knows what's at stake. So let's go. Portugal, Champions League, quarter-final. No more excuses. No more soft performances. This is our night. Come on, Arsenal.